What is going on, community? It is TJ, aka Flash by Night, and we are back here keeping up with the comics. And today we have a trio of comics to keep up with. So go ahead, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and the notification bell so we can kick it off. Because today we are keeping up with Nocterra, issue number 6 from Image Comics. Of course, we've been keeping up with this story since the beginning. For those who haven't been keeping up or just need a refresher, Nocterra is a story where basically this thing called the Big PM, this event happens and the lights go out. And I don't just mean electrical lights. I mean the sun goes away. It's dark everywhere. And the dark is turning, creatures and animals and even humans into these monsters called shades. And our main character, Val Riggs, and her brother Emery, and this child, Bailey, and her grandfather are kind of on the run from this, the shades themselves, the darkness itself, and B, they're on the run from this villain I like, named Blacktop Bill. And up until this point, they had basically found in issue number 5 this kind of utopia, this place where they have light, where they can heal Emery, because Emery had been bitten or touched or whatever, and he was starting to turn himself. So they were able to heal him with this healing light at this sanctuary, at this utopia of sorts. But what happened is that the person running the utopia, the person running the sanctuary, was after them the whole time because of what the grandfather knew. This person happens to be the grandfather's brother, and of course, slight spoilers for the rest of the series. I'm giving everything away. I'm sorry. But issue number 6 is basically where they find out that that the person who's supposed to be helping them is actually behind not everything in the book, but everything that's happening to them at this time. And so this is kind of a issue where they break out from this facility. And I enjoyed it. I had fun with the book, with the story. I think they moved a little fast with the breakout. Maybe not with the breakout itself, but trying to get us more information. We got a couple of names dropped on us, a couple of ideas dropped on us in issue 6 that we hadn't been introduced to before. So that was kind of fast. But one other thing is that during the breakout, a questionable decision was made by our heroes, but it worked. It worked out for them, and they basically end up on the run. And bad things happen. A surprise person shows up in this book. I won't say who it is, but it's a person who you wouldn't expect to see, but he shows up right on time. And then, of course, we get the rescue at the end of the book by Bellwether, who is also on the cover that I bought. I bought the C cover with Bellwether on the front, and Bellwether is kind of Val's dispatcher slash best friend, and they kind of show why and what history they have together also in this book. So Nocterra issue number 6, if I haven't given away too much, I may have, but Nocterra number 6 was moved a little faster than I expected, but 1 through 6 overall is a good story. You can tell that they're going to continue the story. They drop some hints, like I said, throughout the story, and then they drop a cameo at the end of the book to tell you what's going to, or hint at what's going to happen going forward. So I would suggest by now because there's a movie coming, and issue number one is probably going to cost you a little bit because spec is going on and everything. But you can probably find the trade sometime in the near future for issues number 1 through 6. But I would definitely suggest getting on the Nocterra train while we're still in its infancy. Next up, Not All Robots, issue number 2. So I didn't read Not All Robots issue number 1. I was late to the train. I was late to the party, and I didn't get a copy of number 1. I may try to find a copy of number 1. I may not, because while I enjoyed some of the elements in this book, I'm not sure if it's one that I'm going to keep going with. But we'll jump into it, because I don't want to taint your thoughts on the book with my habits, because I'm a unique person. I wouldn't always take my advice, but I try out things and I kind of follow what I like, and I kind of liked it, but I'm not sure if I'm in love with it. How about that? So Not All Robots number 2 starts off with this one robot who apparently accidentally did something, caused a lot of damage, a lot of death, we'll say it. And that event is at the center of the conflict of this book, where you have robots and you have humans kind of debating, whether whose species should stick around, if robots are good for humankind, and vice versa. Because in this story, we've advanced far into the future, and we've advanced enough where robots are prevalent in mankind's operations, and they're doing all the jobs, they're doing all the labor. Mankind basically let robots take over, and now robots have their own place. And that started out well, I guess, but there's a conflict coming because of it. And at the center of this book's conflict is this family who has this robot, is it Razor Ball? I think that's his name, which may not be his name for long. It's another funny thing in this book. But the father in this family is very, very pro-robot, because it's kind of a political book, but it's not a in-your-face political book. So the father in this family is very pro-robot. His wife is scared out of her mind of robots. She doesn't trust them. She doesn't trust the robot at home. It's funny because they even have robot therapists. So they're sitting on the couch talking to a robot, trying to work out their problems. I'm pretty sure that's not going over well with the wife herself. But the kids also aren't really I don't think they're as anti-robot as the wife is, but they definitely aren't pro-robot. And so throughout the book, you see groups of robots and you see groups of humans who are basically preparing for what both groups think is this inevitable clash between robots and humans, and preparing to defend themselves, which is pretty funny, because both sides probably have good points on their side for their species. The robots kind of talk about how destructive humans are, and they may actually be the biggest threat to themselves and not the robots. And the humans, of course, want to take back whatever they've lost to the robots in this process. And it's a pretty good story in my mind. There was a lot of heart and a lot of humor that I've heard in issue number 1 that I didn't see in issue number 2. So maybe I should read issue number 1, and issue number 1 may make issue number 2 sit a little better, and may convince me to really go ahead and go through with the whole series. But I'm not sure just yet. I will say that Not All Robots is a good, well, at least issue number 2 is a good read. I won't say it's a bad read. I just won't say that it's a book that's convinced me I need to read issue number 3. So I may end up with issue number 3. I may not. I don't know. But I don't hate it. Like I said, I don't want to discourage anyone else from picking up this book if they so choose to, but I might not. Lastly, we have Last Flight Out, issue number 1 from Dark Horse Comics. Now, this is a book that I believe I'm going to stick with and see where it goes to, because this was a fun read for me. We basically have a father who is this architect, this engineer behind mankind's last hope, because Earth is going down really, really fast. Like the Earth is deteriorating. We've kind of ruined everything. And so we have these arcs, basically, that are going out into space somewhere for us to set up and colonize somewhere else and maybe ruin somewhere else. We'll see how that goes. But Last Flight Out, issue number 1, is about Dr. Cavewood, basically, who basically misses the birth of his daughter, and then a couple of other things happens that he misses, and we find out that he's been very, very neglectful, because he is the architect behind this whole exodus from Earth that we are taking, that actually the United Nations is taking. So I feel like downturn has really, really happened, because they didn't say explicitly, but I think we may have already lost the US. I don't know, but maybe 20 years down the road from when his daughter is born that he misses, we are ready to take our last flight out and get off of Earth, but she is not ready to go. She is somewhere that is not where they are. I believe they're flying out of San Francisco. They're flying from somewhere not close to where she is, which is in Chicago for one reason or another. And he has 24 hours to go and find her and bring her with him. Outside of that, you have military personnel who are basically known on a need-to-know basis already, who have been talked into, or I guess ordered, to go and find his daughter before this 24 hours is up. They are not happy, and then something happens, basically, and we lose a couple of those military members, and so of course they are unhappier. And this turns into a beat the clock challenge, which is what I like about this book. We already know we have 24 hours to find the daughter, and they're giving us a countdown throughout issue 1. I don't know how long this series is, but I know we got 24 hours. We got 24 hours to get this done, and I am going to stick this out. I really liked it. I really liked the writing. I really like the Dr. Cavewood character, even though he's really neglectful, and I think he really pays for it mentally throughout this process. And so we'll see what happens when they go, when or if they find her, when or if they get to Chicago, because basically there's hell on the other side of where they're going. But this is Last Flight Out, issue number 1. I'm sticking with it. I hope you pick it up, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I did. And that was Keeping Up with the Comics. I hope you saw something you liked. I hope you enjoyed yourself. If you did enjoy yourself, go ahead, hit that like button. And if you want to keep up with me, Keeping Up with the Comics, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. And as always, feel free to leave comments. But as we always do at this time, love yourself, love others, and I will be back in a flash.